Okay, so I will get started. Hi everyone, nice to see all of you, new faces and faces that have been here before. For anyone who doesn't know me, my name's Kat. I'm one of the cruise connoisseurs here at Panache Cruises. Today we have Ange from Uniworld with us again. Hi Ange, thanks for coming. Today we're going to be talking about Milan, Venice and the River Po. This is one of Uniworld's new ships that they've launched, and the itinerary for this is really incredible. It's a great opportunity to get to see a lot of Venice and a lot further south down from Venice as well that you would usually miss out on if you were going to go on an ocean cruise. So it's, this is a really great itinerary. First of all, for any of you that don't know us, Panache Cruises, we've been around for around about a year now. Our founder, James Cole, has founded many different companies, Cruise 118, Six Star Cruises, River Voyages, and has been in the industry for many years. Now, I've worked with James now, it'll be about 6 years, mainly as a river cruise expert, and thankfully I have been on many cruises, and one of them has been Uniworld. I've been on a couple of their ships, so again, really excited for you to see their new ship because it really is spectacular. Here, just so in case you didn't know, we call ourselves connoisseurs because we leave no detail untouched. So anything that you want for your dream holiday, we will make it our main aim for it to become a reality. You're never going to have to wait in a call queue to get hold of one of us, and you will always have your own personal connoisseur. You're never ever going to have to speak to different people. If your connoisseur isn't available at that time, we do have many other members of staff who are all excellent, and they will be able to help you out if one of your connoisseurs isn't available. So as we live by our motto, Panache Cruises, nothing is too much trouble for us. We also, at this moment in time, have book with confidence messages for all of our customers. You know, looking at low deposits, the cruise with confidence messages that we follow as well. And after the presentation, I'll send you the most up-to-date of our river brochures so that you can see all of those messages on there. What Ange will do as well is she will go through their health and safety protocols that there will be on the ship, and also their cruise of confidence messages, and we will also have an offer for you at the end of the webinar. We also have the cruise director from the Venezia ship, and she will be talking to us as well, so you're going to get a really decent insight into the whole itinerary. And now I'm finished. I'm going to hand you over to Ange, and I hope you enjoy the presentation.
Oh, Kat, thank you so much. Thank you for the wonderful introduction, and thank you for the opportunity. You know, we're very proud partners of Panache Cruises, and it's great to be here this morning. So thank you so much for the invitation. And yes, without further ado, I am delighted to be able to showcase to you our wonderful, beautiful, brand new super ship, La Venezia, and how our relatively exclusive, to be honest, itinerary along the River Po and in the wonderful Venetian lagoon, how that looks and what a magical experience it is. So first of all, a little bit of background to those of you who may be less familiar with Uniworld. We're part of a really big family-owned corporation called the Travel Corporation. Been around for just over now 100 years in total, and overall, we have over 40 different travel brands within our portfolio. One of our very special relationships is with Red Carnation Hotels, and that is because the uniqueness of each hotel and the levels of service where we strive to be the very best experience we can possibly offer is exactly the same ethos that you can expect from Uniworld. Now, I know we're talking all things Italy today, but just to give you a flavour of where we travel to, we have extensive cruises throughout the world, a very strong foothold within Europe. So the Danube and the Rhine rivers are very popular, as well as Italy. And then we also have our exotics programme as well. So further afield in the Mekong, China, Egypt, and also India. So if you do fancy something a little further afield, you can book through Panache Cruises as well. And why river cruise? Well, really, it is one of the, I know I'm very biased, but I love ocean and river cruising, to be honest with you. It is one of the safest ways to cruise. You're never far from land. It's very gentle pace, and always so much to see. On average, we have 120 guests on board our ships. And yeah, as Kat mentioned, I will talk about some of the protocols at the end of the presentation, but what we've managed to implement very, very easily is social distancing without losing the social, because that is absolutely key. And we're able to do that with our smaller ships that we have on our rivers. It really is truly immersive. So there is always something to see, whether you're just having a coffee on the sun deck and you're watching the world go by as we sail, some beautiful scenery. But our river ships can sail into the heart of these wonderful towns and cities that you're going to visit. And literally you step ashore and you're there. There's no lengthy transfers or anything like that. When you join us, first of all, there's no big queues. It's all quite hassle-free. So it really is a very spectacular and special way to enjoy cruising. And of course, as with all cruises, the really special thing is that you can unpack once, but get to see all these wonderful different destinations along the way. Now then, I am absolutely delighted to introduce to you our fantastic cruise director, Louisa. She's going to tell us a little bit about our brand new ship and talk you through the itinerary. And then we'll be able to answer any questions, of course, at the end.
So good afternoon. It's my great honour and pleasure to be able to present you with Uniworld's brand new ship, the super ship La Venezia, and her absolutely beautiful cruise in the lagoon of Venice and the Po River. So I am Louisa, and I'm one of the cruise managers with Uniworld. And I was extraordinarily lucky about a month ago when I was able to hop on board La Venezia to see how stunning she is. And that was absolutely confirmed. She is absolutely magnificent. If I was to describe her, the adjectives I would use would be opulent, decadent, luxurious, magnificent. She really is absolutely perfectly fitted out to represent Venice's most glorious golden era. She has beautiful suites, she has beautiful staterooms, and she has the most stunning public spaces, just as you would expect on one of the Uniworld ships. The cruise that she takes is through the lagoon of Venice and then a little bit up the way of the Po River, and it's an 8-day cruise, so that's 7 nights. And the name is Venice and the Gems of Northern Italy. So, as I said, she really is glorious. She's got these beautiful, opulent, golden, decadent spaces. So lots of velvet and silks, lots and lots of gold, some really beautiful fortuni, lamps, beautiful silks, really, really very, very high quality spaces. As soon as you step on board, you just feel like you're in a 10-star luxury space. It really is quite gorgeous. And of course, that's without mentioning the backdrop, which is the lagoon of Venice and its hinterland. She newly has some very beautiful smaller spaces as well now on board. So we have a smaller dining space for sort of more al fresco bistro dining. That's the image there on the right. We also have the most beautiful, very intimate, private space for wine tastings and more intimate dinners. And this is La Cantinetta, and this is where we have special fridges and cases and so forth for some of the very best wines that Northern Italy can offer. This would be the ideal space for a cooking experience, a wine tasting experience, or a slightly more intimate dinner. As I said, the rooms are incredibly decadent. The suites are absolutely divine. Each one of them is a little bit different, set out obviously using the highest quality materials, really doing honour to this beautiful tradition of elegance and luxury in Venice. There's also some really special spaces. The ships, each one of them is completely different, and La Venezia is no different in that. She has works of art sort of woven into her decoration. And so, for example, the doors are actually now works of art, and the entrance hall is basically a work of art, a unique space. Okay, so the cruise itself, as I said, is Venice to Venice. So you will start in Venice and you will return to Venice. And this is an absolutely gorgeous way to discover this part of of northern Italy. Because you start in Venice at the beginning of your week, you will have all of the sort of the biggest, you know, the big hit places to see, the ones that you absolutely can't miss. And then you have a little bit more time during the week to see other sites, and perhaps allow your experience to sort of start settling down and allow you to make choices about how you want to experience Venice when you come back to her at the end of the week. So it doesn't feel like a sort of hit and run. You know, you come into Venice, you see, excuse me, the big sites, and then you know that you are going to have the opportunity to come back at the end of the week. So you can see all of the other things that you didn't get to see at the beginning of the week when you come back before your departure. If you want to make your vacation a little bit longer, you can also make the trip a little bit longer by adding on a couple of days at the beginning of your vacation. So fly into Milan, 2 nights en route to meeting the ship, so a couple of days in Milan and that district, visiting Milan, and then with a really special lunchtime visit to Valpolicella wine area just outside of Verona. And of course we wouldn't miss the opportunity to visit Verona en route into Venice. So the cruise is absolutely fantastic. It has a really nice dynamic. So it's a sort of, it's almost like a wave, okay, which is perfectly appropriate for the water. So it has some really, really big highlights, really big cities, really important places where you get, you know, the major history and so forth, and the decorations and the art and the history, but it also has some really important experience highlights. So the culinary highlights, the wine highlights, the environmental, you know, the nature highlights. And it also has some highlights in terms of the really tiny little places that we visit. So maybe some of the smaller places that you might not have thought about visiting, but really are just like walking into a postcard. So we see San Marco, of course, in Venice. We see Bologna, the culinary capital of Italy. And we visit also Burano at the end of the week. And as I said, Burano is really like falling into a postcard. So I'm going to run through fairly quickly the week just to give you an idea of what we're up to, more or less. So the first full day that you're in Venice, we're going to make sure that you really get a full idea of how the city is. So this is a walking discovery tour. Now, one of the magnificent things about Uniworld is that we have very small groups. This is ideal, full stop. Of course, it's fantastic to have small groups because it means that with your guide, who is really more of a storyteller, let's say, than a guide, because this is somebody that is going to accompany you and really tell the story of the place. So explain to you all of the history and the culture and all of the little nooks and crannies. So really give you a good idea of what makes these places tick, okay? So obviously that's fantastic because having small groups means that you can have a dialogue with these people. So you can really feel as if you're being involved. You're not just following and sort of trudging through a place. It's also especially good in 2021 in what we hope are post-COVID times where small groups are really to be searched out for. You'll be walking through the city. You're going to have a real feeling of how the city is, the nature of Venice. Of course, it's a unique city. So to walk through it, to feel its spaces, to see its sort of panoramas, its horizons is really fantastic. And again, this will all be narrated by your storyteller. Of course, we make sure we go into the most important places, and these are places, for example, the Doge's Palace, St. Mark's Church. These are big, important places that you absolutely can't miss. But unless you are with the right people, and that's Uniworld and their storytellers, then you might not quite get the full experience. Of course, when you go in with Uniworld, you're going to be shown exactly what to look at, exactly how to understand. So it's not just your regular guided tour. This is a way of getting beyond the surface, a way of really seeing the most important, the most beautiful parts of the city, the little nooks and crannies, the little views, getting those wonderful memories. maybe snapping some of those fantastic photos that you're going to be able to help keep those memories with you. We'll of course walk through the city. We're going to see all of the typical things about Venice. So these are typical of Venice, but they are completely atypical for the rest of the world. So these absolutely magnificent works of art that are the gondolas. We're going to be walking through the little alleyways and seeing the city. In the afternoon, you're going to have a little bit of downtime and some sailing. So a nice piece of cruising. And in the evening, we have, again, an absolute highlight. We have an exclusive after-hours visit to San Marco. Now, this is a bigger group. So here, all of our guests will be joining us, if they would like, of course, in the Church of San Marco. But it's just for us. So this is the typical way that Uniworld likes to do things. It's an exclusive visit. So we will all be led into the church just for us. We will all be able to sit down and watch as the lights are gradually turned on in the church to reveal these incredible 800-year-old golden mosaics. And again, we have an absolutely spectacular storyteller who is going to allow these images to unfold and tell the story of this more or less 1,000-year-old church. It really is a highlight. It's one of those moments that, okay, it's in a church, so if you have, faith, then that's one aspect. But actually for everyone, I think it's quite a spiritual moment, because you are surrounded by this gold and this beautiful glittering background to the church, and you're on your own, just us in the church, and you're looking around, and it really just feels like this magical moment. The next day, we will be moving out of the lagoon, so we start to have some decisions to be made, so some choices to be made, whether or not you perhaps want to go stay on board, do a little bit more sailing and have a visit to the fishing town of Chioggia, with a visit to a gondola's boatyard in the morning in Venice before sailing away from Venice, or if you want to spend the entire day in the nearby university town of Padua. So if you were going to go to Chioggia, we would be able to visit this lovely little fishing town. It's called the Small Venice, and it really is. It has a very different dynamic to Venice. So whereas Venice is the grandiose, historic city, Chioggia is its sort of cheeky little brother. So it's much more local, it's on a smaller scale. And when we visit, we'll be seeing some of its sort of hidden corners. We've actually used that day to be able to go and visit the river delta of the Po. Okay, so this is accessible from Chioggia. This is a brand new tour, and we will be able to hop onto a smaller boat which will take us down into the entrance of the Po into the sea. So this is where the Po flows out into the sea, and we have this really interesting, unique river delta area. And this is an absolute must for nature lovers. It's the possibility to see some really beautiful backgrounds and beautiful views, but also to see some of the sort of fauna and flora and the wildlife, so the birds that are in this area. If instead you prefer to be enjoying your sort of tasting experiences, then we have a wine tasting in a rustic villa, again in this district later on in the afternoon. So a couple of choices there, really something for everyone. If instead you want to visit the city of Padua, then of course again it's an accompanied visit, so it will be with a storyteller, and they will be able to show this really gorgeous city. Again, it's a really nice dynamic because it's very different from Venice. Now, the thing about Uniworld is that we want you to go beyond the surface. We don't want you just to be ticking the boxes. We want you to see what makes these places tick, okay? So not just the history, but the flavors, the tastes, the character of the people, what people like to do, what's weird and wonderful, So, for example, in Padua, you might like to taste one of these weird and wonderful mint cream coffees. Now, it sounds absolutely bizarre, a little bit disgusting. I have to say it is actually quite interesting, quite tasty. And your host, of course, will make sure that you go and have the opportunity to taste this coffee in a 300-year-old bar. So, again, really seeing a little bit more than the sort of regular tours. Seeing the market stalls, and then of course seeing the big hits in the city. So the Church of St. Anthony is really spectacular architecture and a wonderful place as well, of course, in terms of religion. The next day, this is the day when the ship will be down the Po, giving us the option to get a little bit closer to another region of Italy. So this is Emilia-Romagna, and we will be going either to Bologna, culinary capital of Italy, where they make the fresh egg pasta, and we go and see it and of course taste it. So it's a fantastic opportunity. Or if you want something a little bit more low-key, a slightly smaller, again, historic, beautiful cultural town of Ferrara. And Emilia-Romagna, again, it's the home of the pasta, the egg pasta in Italy. So it really is a feast for the taste buds. Both in Ferrara and Bologna, you cannot move for seeing all of these wonderful delicacies. If you come with us to Bologna, then we will be watching them being made, seeing how they actually get made. It looks so easy. I can assure you it's not. These are true experts. Seeing how they make the pasta sauce and so forth and so on. Or, of course, in Ferrara, visiting some of the historic sites and just seeing this lovely little town. In the evening, we will be back on the river in Policella, and we have some absolutely spectacular, really top-notch entertainment, and that's with Maria's live band. And it's really important to think as well about what you'll be doing whilst you're on the ship. So these gorgeous public spaces will be the sites for some really enjoyable relaxation moments. I have to say with Maria, we won't be relaxing because she will be getting everybody up and dancing. She is a force of nature, absolutely incredible woman, really amazing voice, and it makes for a really, really fun evening. On Thursday, we'll be coming back to Chioggia on our way back into Venice. Thursday is the best time to visit Chioggia, this sort of fun little market town. It's a fishing town. Thursday morning is the market day, so really, really bustling, fun. It's a really nice way to see how a regular town is in this part of Italy. So it's absolutely massively picturesque, beautiful, beautiful town, but it gives you very much the sense of a place where people live. We then sail back through the lagoon, moving up to the north, where you're going to get some of the most beautiful views, some absolutely lovely sunsets. And again, it's very nice just to sit on the ship and relax as the world goes by. We also have a little bit of information for people that want a little bit more. So if you're interested in engineering, there will be also a lecture on this new engineering project that's just been put into action in Venice. That brings us on to Friday, and Friday is the day when we will be newly docked in this tiny little town of Burano. We are the only ship that docks there, so it's absolutely a unique moment. Burano, every single house is a different colour. As I said, it really feels like you've fallen into a postcard. And we get to visit the little fishing town. We get to wander through its more or less empty streets, because by the time we get there in the evening, it is absolutely just ours. On Friday, we can discover the city when it's a little bit more busy, but on Thursday evening, when we first arrive, it really feels like it's just for us. It's a very special moment. On Friday, we're going to be also making sure we explore more than just Burano. So we'll be seeing the nearby little village of Mazzorbo that has some really interesting little grapevines there, produces a very interesting wine. And we will also be having yet another exclusive visit just for us to the cathedral, the one-time cathedral on the island of Torcello. We again will have a storyteller to narrate this whole magnificent history. The island is more or less abandoned now. It has a really interesting history, and we can see some of the remnants of that history when we visit the cathedral. It's a lovely place to visit. Again, it has this really nice dynamic because we've seen the busy places, we've seen the market towns, and then we also see this tiny little abandoned island up in the north of the lagoon. We come back into Venice later on Friday, and so that leaves us the whole of Saturday to enjoy Venice, downtown Venice, as we prefer. So we have loads and loads of opportunities to choose. People can choose an art visit. They could choose a market visit, where of course we get to taste some of the lovely local delicacies. They could choose just to have some free time. We can show them where to get a gondola, to have a gondola ride. We can show them where to taste something really interesting, where we can show them where they would, you know, maybe get some great shopping done in the city. So Saturday is a really nice time to just finish off all of the things that people want to do, that they've maybe been sort of drawing through their minds since the beginning of the week and think, oh, that really interests me. That's how I'd like to dedicate my time at the end of the week. In the afternoon, what we usually do is we also make sure that we can see one of the other aspects of the culture of Venice, and this is the glass making trade. So glass has been made in Venice for 1,000 years on the island of Murano, and so the Murano glass is really part and parcel of the culture of Venice. And of course we couldn't possibly come to Venice without seeing how they make the glass and seeing a little bit of this craftsmanship. So we have a demonstration where people can see, just us, exclusively for us, where they can see how this is made, and of course then the opportunity to see some of the types of works of art that are made using the Murano glass techniques. Okay, that leads us to the end of our cruise and disembarkation on Sunday. One thing that I'd also like to point out is that, of course, Uniworld makes sure that you have the most magnificent vacation, basically tailor-made for you. So the whole time that you're with us, we will be helping you get the most of that out of that vacation. So making sure that if you're interested, I don't know, in fishing in the lagoon, we can point out something to you that's going to be of interest. You're interested in the theatre, you're interested in a particular type of local wine, or maybe you're interested in a particular historical period. The whole time that you're with us, we're going to be helping to make sure that your cruise is absolutely what you want it to be. So maybe as you leave us, you might be staying on a couple of days more in Venice. We can help you have an idea of how to spend those extra days. So this is absolutely the best way to see Venice. You really go so much further into the city. You understand the city and its history, and you appreciate it so much more. And you do it in such a much more relaxed way than the sort of hit and run, drop in and dash off again way that so many other people do. It really is an absolutely beautiful way to visit the city. And I very much hope to be able to welcome you on board and share this magnificent city and area with you. In the meantime, thanks. Have a lovely rest of your day. Ciao, ciao. So good.
Well, I hope we've been able to give you some little inspiration now on the wonderful super ship La Venezia and our fantastic itinerary, the Gems of Northern Italy. And thank you, a huge thank you to Louisa, our wonderful cruise manager, for presenting that for us. So why Uniworld? Louisa did touch on it a little bit throughout her presentation, but we strive to absolutely give you the very highest of standards. We're by no means the biggest river cruise line, but absolutely we aim to be the best. We have one-of-a-kind ships, so no ship is the same as the next. As you saw there with La Venezia, a lot of her personality is very much inspired by the destination itself, with the Fortuny wonderful furnishings, the wonderful grand Murano glass chandelier you'd be met with as soon as you board her. These are the things that really set us out from the crowd. Needless to say, outstanding service. Our crew and guests alike almost become part of a family by the end of the itinerary for sure. Culinary excellence. So the heritage of the Travel Corporation and the Tolman family who own us, B. Tolman, is a chef in her own right, and their background is in hospitality, and they are wonderful hoteliers. And so absolutely, culinary excellence is right up there on the priority list. We're truly all-inclusive. You literally could leave your purse or your wallet at home if you wanted to. It's that included. All your meals, your excursions, your drinks throughout the day, all times. And just to give you an idea of how inclusive that is, we have 28 different brands of whiskey on board. 18 of them are complimentary. So it really is all-inclusive to a whole new different level. Obviously, our guests' well-being is of paramount importance. I'll tell you a little bit about that in a second. And we have some wonderful offers, which again, I'll touch on as well. So we want to make it so that it's really possible for you to enjoy our cruise in the very best possible way. So yes, I mean, in terms of our guests and crew safety alike is very, very much at the forefront of our minds, and following the guidance of significant organisations such as CLEAR and the World Health Organization, we have installed lots of new protocols on board our ships. Absolutely, we'll be embracing technology. So you'll maybe have, instead of physical key cards, these will be use of barcodes, which is using technology can be downloaded to any up-to-date tablet or iPhone, smartphone. Touchless temperature screenings, lots of different protocols, but also we've invested heavily. So it's a self-disinfecting system on board all of our ships to make sure every single surface has a unique system, which means that it's going to be virus free for at least a year when we will do this all over again. So a significant investment, but one we absolutely felt that we couldn't miss out on. We have to keep everybody's safety and well-being right up there at the top of the list. And you know, whilst we know we're looming towards lots of positivity and we're sailing again very soon, we also understand that there may be some desire to have flexibility to change plans if you need to do, change itineraries, change dates, and we are able to do that up to 60 days before departure with no penalties for you at all. And Kat and the team will be able to talk you through that at any point. Very, very quickly, just wanted to tell you as well as we've got the Milan stay pre to getting onto the cruise, we also have wonderful itineraries if you would like to team up with a rail journey. Golden Eagle luxury trains are absolutely magnificent. This is really like Uniworld on the rails in terms of the same concept, and it's a fantastic itinerary that dovetails into this spectacular cruise. We have chartered several departures in 2021 and 2022. The Danube Express goes from Zurich to Venice, and honestly, it is absolutely spectacular. So I just wanted to mention this to you in case we have anybody that would be interested in exploring that further. And finally, we have some amazing offers. Our 8-day ultra luxury all-inclusive river cruise you can experience for just $1,899 per person for later this year, if you would like to. We also have many dates that have got single supplements. Don't forget it's on board our brand new super ship Venezia, who she will be experiencing her inaugural sailing. So it'd be a really special time to travel with us. And as preferred partners of Panache Cruises and wanting to support them as best we can, we've got some exclusive offers. So if you did want to make absolutely the most of this wonderful destination, have a 2-night stay followed by an 8-day wonderful cruise, that itinerary would normally be $3,199 per person, but as a special offer just for Panache Cruises, you could book that with them for $2,519 per person. And also for any bookings that are made following this presentation up till the end of the month, at the end of April, we will add on a door-to-door transfer to the airport for you, just to make sure that you are getting the very best river cruise experience that you possibly could do. So without further ado, thank you so much for me. Thank you again, Kat and the team, for all your support and for inviting us on this presentation.
Thank you so much for that, and amazing itinerary. The ship looks incredible, and that offer is really, really spectacular. So if anyone is interested in it, I will be sending out this webinar out to you and also to some people that may not have been able to join. The offer is available up until the end of the month. So if you do want to have a chat to me or one of the team about it, then please either give me a call or send me an email off the back of the email that I'm going to be sending you. I just want to say again, thanks so much for your time, and we really, really do appreciate it. And also I want to say thank you to all of our customers that have joined us as well today. We do appreciate that you spend your time with us on a Wednesday. But other than that, I hope everyone keeps safe and well, and hopefully we will speak to you all very soon. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.